I don't know if you could still see me, but I am a graduate from 2017, and I'll go into my background. But this is me, a child, faking a lesson on how I became an adult, because I am also not an adult. So this is just a single picture, but I have a lot more pictures coming up that I think I could figure out. So I currently work at Raytheon Technologies. I started in 2017, right after we graduated, and I'm still there now. Multiple names: United Technologies, Pratt & Whitney, Collins Aerospace. We merged, we combined, we acquired, we rolled off, so many corporate terms that we did. But my current role is lead cybersecurity incident responder. I'll get into it, but I'm actually a mechanical engineer. But I also do product management work. I'm doing a full enterprise rollout of like an IT software for multi-factor authentication. No fun. And I also do all the other bitch work no one else on my team wants. So I am one of 30 people on the cyber team at Pratt, and I'm also 1 out of 5 women. I recently did an interview for Girls Who Code. I don't know if we do Girls Who Code for Stevens, but I did like an interview about like my experience as a woman in IT, and I'll get into that a little later on, but it's been not that bad. So I actually really love my job, and I love my team, and if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't really still be at this company anymore. But so I graduated from Stevens in 2017. I was a 5 out of 5. I got my bachelor's in mechanical engineering, and then I got my master's in systems engineering. So I did that all within the 5-year program. I had 3 co-ops. Dr. Pepper Snapple was my first one, Movado, and then Colgate Palmolive. And then for my clubs, I was fast, almost everything. ESC treasurer and president. And then in that, I was SGA rep. Whenever, I don't even know how ESC is going, and I also don't want to ask. I'm afraid of the answer. And I was also in DataFi. So I was a DataFi sister. Some of them may still know me, but I wasn't actually too active. Most of my really good closest friends were in DataFi as well, but most of them also were in FAST. So that's kind of why I got involved in DataFi. So I'll go through my FAST years, and then I also have a bunch of pictures that I wanted to go along with this timeline. But I'll just read through it, and then maybe if I can figure out how to share my photos, then we can look at the pictures. But I was ESC rep from my first role in FAST, and then my first ever Unity showcase was in 2013. I then moved in to treasurer, I think in 2013 to 2014, but I actually don't really remember the timeline of my life. So then the first ever annual FAST alumni ball was when I was treasurer. I think the president at the time was Jane, and it was Jane, Milka, and Juan's idea, and Bima, and Alden, and everybody in the sexiest year. So they started the first ever FAST alumni ball, and that was when I was treasurer. But definitely props to everybody just mentioned, and everybody now in the e-board and past e-boards for keeping it alive, because I think we had little hope after we graduated that it would stay alive, but we're really happy that it's still going on. So then after that was my president's year. A little history of how that was supposed to work out was I was supposed to be president and Domo was supposed to be my vice president, or vice versa, whatever anybody wanted. Some circumstances happened, and then Domo couldn't do much. So he then became president after me, which actually worked out really well. So we were still able to work with each other between our presidencies. I then got my first little Roma. She's probably not here, but whenever I do talk to her, she's still really close to me. But then also I got Geraldine as my next little, and she is on here right now. For some reason, I can only see Geraldine's face, so I'm staring at her. And I love her. I've always loved her. So littles are great, and you guys just announced Big Little Night, and I almost cried because that's so cute. Okay. So then in very small italics were the dark days when Domo forced me to host Find in fall 2014. I completely blacked that out. Worst experience of my life. But if you ask anybody from Find during 2014, they'll tell you that Stevens was their most favorite Find. And I don't know why. I probably cried 5 times that day and like 100 times leading up to that day. Find? Yes, Find. And me and Domo almost became non-friends, but we're really good friends still, so that's fine. And then I put SMBDC because I have a picture from there that I want to show, and it was really cute. And Caleb and Caitlin won it, and it was just a really good night. And it started leading up to what was going to be a really great year. So then we had FAST, the first parole making night, I think, and I'll show you guys a picture of that. But I really credit my what's it called, social chairs for that. It was a really fun event. I don't know if you guys still do it, but it was really fun. And then the first FAST Unity win in 6 years, probably one of the happiest days of my life. Actually, still thinking about it makes me cry. I remember crying when I heard that we won Unity, and it was crazy. I had so many friends there supporting me, and we just all knew it was like, it meant so much to everybody that was there. And I have a picture of that too. And then we had FAST Thanksgiving after that. It was like one of the most memorable Thanksgivings that we had. We had it at Ruth's house. And is Unity like battle? Does Unity not happen anymore?
It didn't happen last year because of COVID.
Oh,
we got robbed.
Unity is like battle, but Unity is with all of the cultural clubs. And for those 6 years that FAST didn't win Unity, IUA won Unity. So it was a really big deal for all of us, all the alumni that were there. And I was like a third year, and it was a big deal for the seniors, and it was amazing. So then after that, I was ESC treasurer, which was pretty boring, but I wanted to stay in an e-board, and I was already FAST president, so I had to keep going. But at that time, Domo was president for FAST, and then they two-peated Unity wins with Caitlin as vice president. So that was in April 2016. And then my last year in school, I was ESC president, which I then had Julia as vice president. She mentioned that in her presentation. And that was my last Unity, and that was in April 2017. So if I can hopefully figure this out, allow access to all photos, you guys are going to see all these photos.
Show us the jet nudes. Give us the jet OnlyFans.
I will just scroll through some of these, and I wish they were in order. Oh, and I can't share videos. Oh, that's sad. Okay, so this is our graduating year. This is parole making night. I wanted this picture to come first, but then show that Julia is great at everything for no reason. So then she made this beautiful parole. And then this was Washington Find 2016, I think, or 2015. I don't really remember. This is us being a cult or a boy band or whatever. We kind of just walked throughout Washington, D.C. with these jackets. And then this is a trophy that is probably lost. And I asked people to keep it safe, but now I've never seen it again. So it's probably somewhere in the abyss of wherever you guys keep it. And then this was my last Unity. I dressed up in my cultural garb. So I guess I didn't preface this, but I am not Filipino. For people that don't know me, thanks George for confirming my trophies are safe. I'm 100% Hispanic, and my parents are Panamanian. So Jet, who was here before, is my boyfriend, for those of you who don't know us. And we've been together for 8 years. So throughout high school, last year of high school, throughout college, and still now. And then, so he's the Filipino one, I'm not. The reason why I joined FAST, which I guess I should have started with this, is Chanel, who was one of the most important alumni to me at the time. She asked us if we wanted to come to a FAST meeting, and of course we said yes. And then I only went because I had Jet with me, but then I ended up falling in love with everybody and anything that FAST stands for. So this is us then, and then us now, or 3 years ago now. So this was our graduating class. And this is Stevens thinking that I'm the cultural representation of Stevens, and they put me in a newsletter and called me the Pinnacle Scholar, and it was I'm just there for diversity reasons, 100% sure. So this was the first ever alumni ball. That's Milka, my big, and then I should probably crop out that boy because he's not in the picture anymore, but then that's me and Jet when we were babies. And then this is the night before the infamous first Unity win. And then this is the picture of us going to escape the room. You guys would remember that. And then this was one of the first practices we had. Those are the tin and cling sticks that we used to have. They were plastic. They were blue and red and yellow. And we probably got rid of them and we have the better ones now. And this was my first day as president. And there's baby Caleb in the back there. And then this was the Thanksgiving that I was talking about at Ruth's house, and we ate a lot, and I think I drank a lot, and I was found in the bathroom. That's another story. And then this is another another find. I think this is a Washington find. Oh, we can actually tell with Jet's badge. I think that was Washington. See, and then this is SNBDC that they won, and I was so proud of them.
Ooh, second place.
Oh, I thought you guys won. Didn't you win?
It was B Wong and 2K, Rachel and Zin that won.
Oh, yes. So this is Death Car after Domo got rid of actual Death Car, and then we took my car around, which I still have that car, so it's not completely dead. Then that's Roma, who's my other little, and then that's it. That's all the pictures. I have more, but I don't want to take too much time. So if I go back to my presentation, I'll actually go back and start presenting. So how did I get here? So I kind of just put together a summary of a sentence that I went through for each of my years. So for my freshman year, my tip to myself was do as much as possible, but not more than possible. I did marching band when I was in high school, and I loved band still. So I wanted to do concert band, but they had 6 p.m. practices on Sundays. So I wanted to do band. I did band throughout freshman year, and then my first semester of my sophomore year, I was actually playing clarinet in band. I did track in high school, so I wanted to do track in college, but they had 6 a.m. practices, and I wasn't about that. So I didn't do that. And then that's when I started doing fast. So the suggestion is do as much as you can. Don't hole yourself up in your room. I know Corona and COVID has it making it so weird now about what you guys should do, but I love that you guys are all active in the Discords and everything and always talking to each other, because my next tip is once you figure out what you want to do and who you are, start to make these relationships with not only people, but also any like employers that you might have internships with, but turn those relationships into long-lasting friendships. So I can say for sure any alumni that's on this call right now, I'm still really good friends with. Even though we're so far apart, we don't talk every day or every week, or sometimes not even every month. But when we do talk, it's like no time has passed. And that's what I really love about the friendships that I've made and that I still have. So my third year, my tip for you would be get your master's at the same time. Sorry, this isn't a fun fact, but the truth hurts. If you plan on getting your master's after you graduate with your bachelor's, just don't if your company's paying for it, then do it, but don't pay to get your master's. So get your master's while you're getting your undergrad, or get your master's paid for, but please just don't pay for your master's. So for my fourth year, or my fourth tip, take at least one class you're interested in. So this isn't really something that seems like you would forget, and it kind of seems like common sense, but I just went throughout Stevens. I actually got my concentration in aerospace engineering, but I didn't really know exactly what I wanted. So I took a class in advanced fluid dynamics. So I know that doesn't sound fun, but it was actually the best class that I took because the professors were really amazing. And they got me to learn that I loved data analysis and that I loved fluid dynamics and the data analysis of all of that. So I didn't really know what to do with it, but by the time it was my senior year, I couldn't switch majors. So my tip to you is, as early on in a career, in your college career, is just take a class you're interested in. So then you can switch majors if you really want to. So because I've learned that I was interested in data analysis, and I actually also had an internship in SAP IT, which is awful. I looked into like IT, SAP shutters. I looked into IT rotational programs, but I also looked into ops, manufacturing, supply chain, and I started applying to those. So I was in a 2-year program. I did 3 8-month rotations, and I did the digital technology leadership program for United Technologies. And that is how I got to where I am today. So with my background in mechanical engineering, now I'm in cybersecurity. If you asked me 3 years ago if I would be doing this, I would tell you no. But it's really just because of the program that I went through. So I think if you have an opportunity to do any kind of rotational program, like I probably should have done the supply chain program because I did all of these co-ops in supply chain, but I would 100% do it all over again. So if you have any opportunity to do a rotational program out of college, I like 100% do it. Even if you're not in that major, just apply to it. Okay, so I'm gonna move on. So this is kind of like my fun slide of what I wanted to share with you guys. So I'm actually a recruiter for that same program that I was in. So I'm a recruiter for the Digital Technology Leadership Program and actually all the other leadership programs in UTC. I was just at the Rutgers Career Fair. I usually go to SACE. I usually go to SHIP. I keep asking to send me to SWE, but they've never sent me to SWE. So there's just one thing. There's a few things to not say to me. So these are direct quotes of people that have actually said these things to me. Somebody said this to me 2 days ago. I have another job offer right now, but I want to keep my options open. It's like, okay, great, kid. I don't want to keep talking to you then. So I kind of just like close out of his, I think it's called Handshake now. The software you have to use for like recruiting. So I kind of just left the room after 3 minutes. In the past, people have asked me, what can your company do for me? It's like, well, have you not looked us up? Like, what do you want from us? I'm not here to tell you what I'm here to help you with. Like, I'm here to look for candidates for this job that I have. Somebody also has asked me, I'm not sure what your company does. Can you give me a high level summary? I straight up said to this kid, no, and you can go talk to someone else, because how can you just come to me and ask me to tell you what my company does if we have all of these flyers, all of these posters, and you couldn't like spend 5 minutes to look it up? So next. And then this question isn't really too bad, but if you're at a career fair and it's your first time talking to a recruiter, I don't recommend you say this. What is the starting salary for an entry-level position? You're at a career fair and recruiters are I'm talking to like 100 kids in one day, and I haven't drank water, I haven't eaten, I haven't used the bathroom, and I'm just exhausted. So if you're just coming to me to ask me what the salary is like at our company, I don't really think you're interested in actually working for us. So I usually just like put your resume to the bottom of the pile. So what to do instead? So definitely highly recommend, even if career fairs are even set up with like Handshake, if Stevens is even doing that, apply to job descriptions before you talk to the recruiters. It'll give the recruiters a better idea of what you guys want, so then they can direct you to the right place. Know what the company does. God, please do your research. Oh my God, it's so important. Don't just go to a tent, even though it's virtual now, but when it was in person, don't just go to a booth or a tent or a table if you don't even know what the company does. It'll scar you and you're basically on the blacklist. So please just research it for 5 minutes. And then also just very obviously have an easy to read resume. I don't know if you guys still use the Stevens format, but the Stevens format is just so awful to read. because it's so low in it. The text is so small. So if you can just like use like the new formats that are like cool with the blue borders on the side and like these are my qualifications and like little white text, like it's easier to read. I prefer to read that. But if you're applying online, use the typical Stevens format. If you're going to talk to somebody in person, use a fun to read like resume. It'll make me remember your resume better. So always have like 2 different resumes, one for career fairs and one for applying to jobs online. And after you talk to the recruiter from the career fair, don't use that same resume to apply online. Like make sure you still use like your nicely laid out Stevens resume, because there are like softwares companies use to like read through the resume. So you want to make sure that those softwares can easily read through your information. So I do have another slide about what I do in the real world, but this was really my biggest takeaway that I wanted to share with you guys, because you guys are applying to jobs. And so I'm actually a recruiter. I've been a recruiter for 2 years. Do you guys have any questions about like what you should do? Or I guess I wanted to open the chat. I know I've seen a lot of chats coming through, but I haven't like had it open.
At the end of the interview, you ask, do you have any questions for us? Or like, and what should the person ask?
Well, it's the difference between the interview and the recruiter is you kind of have to, the talking to the recruiter is like way more fast paced than like an interview. So for an interview, I'd give you like the general suggestions of like, how is the culture in the company and how do you like working there? How did you get started? Like more talk to the person as if like they're a person. Because when I'm a recruiter and I'm just asking questions, sometimes it's like a breath of fresh air to get asked a question myself of like what I like and like what I do and what would I have done differently. What's been the most fulfilling experience you've had at the company? I mean, that's a good one too. I probably have to like think for a while about that one, but it's good to just like treat the recruiter as a person, because we're tired and hungry and thirsty and we just like need a break sometimes. So it's good for us to just tell you about ourselves.
All right, thank you.
There's a question from Olivia. What makes people stand out more to you? It's definitely hard depending on like what I'm interviewing for. So I am recruiting for the rotational programs, and we're a leadership development program. So we actually aren't looking for people that are heads down coders and workers that only want to do SolidWorks drawings, that love 3D modeling, that would love to do infrastructure and all that stuff. That's like a good nice to have, but what we're really looking for to see is if you are personable and if you are really interested in the role. Definitely it'll stand out to me if you come in already knowing what the role is. Definitely would stand out to me if you already told me like XYZ is the most interesting part of your company. Like, what can I do to learn more? Or like, what can I do? Like, this is what I enjoy. What part of the company would I be able to be fit into? So I just don't want to see the glass eyes. Like, I don't want to see the, I don't really know. So definitely like for recruiting, go to the companies that you don't care about first, and then before, like, don't go to the companies that you care about at the very last hour, because I'm so tired. So come like an hour before lunchtime, because I really want to talk to you and I really just want to get to lunch. So don't talk to me at like 3 p.m. I prefer to talk to you between the hours of like 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Just, I guess that's what I would prefer. And with Handshake, you can go and select what times you want to talk to recruiters. So definitely like keep that in mind. And then I saw there's like a lot of questions. Okay. Any other questions? What have been good questions that have been asked to you? Kind of like what I said. If you haven't noticed, I like to talk about myself, and most recruiters like to talk about themselves, or else they wouldn't be a recruiter. So just try and get the recruiters to like talk about themselves, and you'll be a little bit more memorable. I genuinely like to help the students that I talk to. I like tell them what to look up. I tell them what to change on their resume. I tell them that they'll be a good fit and then to reach out to me. Another big tip is if a recruiter says, here's my email me if you have any questions, just 100% email them. Don't sit there and think, oh, well, maybe 100 other people are emailing them. Definitely just, I've given my email out to 16 people and only 3 people reached out to me, like from this past Friday. So I'm responding to these 3 people, and these are the 3 people that I'm keeping top of mind. So you don't really know what everybody else is going to do. So just take the initiative, follow them on LinkedIn, email them with whatever email they give you. And with Handshake and the new systems, the recruiter can usually add their LinkedIn. So you'll probably see it there. The new systems suck. I hate virtual recruiting. I would really rather not. So what if they don't add you back on LinkedIn and you don't got to work there? No, I don't know. Then just
know what? Oh, you weren't done. Sorry.
oh no, you can go.
How do you know like what to look for in a company? Like, how do you figure out what you want? I guess. I'm sorry for interrupting.
It's okay, Em. From where I am now, I would 100% go to any company that offered me a rotational program. I would apply to rotational programs like out the wazoo and just go to any company that would take me. Because even if you don't want to work at that company after you're done with the rotational program, every single company wants you, especially for IT, DT, comp sci. Like I have friends that just leave my program. Like my one friend went to Amazon, my one friend just went to GE, my one friend just went to Google. Like these rotational programs are a really big deal for companies, and they're really not that well known. So just grab any rotational program, like job posting that you find. But the thing is, like job postings are up now and they're going to be closed in December. So if you're trying to get a job for 2021, you need to be applying like now and like looking at it now. I don't know.
Did it usually say rotational program, or is there like
rotational program, leadership development program?
Oh, okay.
They always go by acronyms. Like I was into DTLP. My sister's program calls it like the OLD, leadership development program.
Okay.
Or rotational, or it's usually one of those.
Thank you. Julia had a question.
Julia, can you just tell me?
I think they keep reposting it.
Oh, how was your transition from student to working adult? Also, how do you deal with senioritis? I still have senioritis. I had a really big presentation that I was giving to the CIO, and I was doing the presentation at 10 p.m. with my manager the night before, and he was really pissed at me. So then the next time I had to give that presentation, I did it 2 days before, and he was really happy with me. But see, you just have to like start out with low expectations and then like slowly like rise them up, and then they'll actually like appreciate you more. But as from like going to a working adult, I was gonna keep going in my presentation, and I do have like something about like how I manage as a working adult. So I won't drown your question, but I will answer that in my next slide.
I have a question. Actually, it's not really a question, but like, do you have any stories that you like kind of would want to tell about like work or recruiting or whatever, but like it was kind of like not relevant, so like you just haven't said it yet?
So for work, I like said it in my first slide, but I really do all the bitch work that nobody else on my team wants to do. Somehow I became the person that knows a little bit about everything. And I guess I kind of always strived to be that. But when you're in corporate America, it's really annoying because people will just email you. It's like, Desiree, do you know how to do this? Oh, Desiree, do you know about the O365 upgrade? Oh, Desiree, do you know how to set up a token? Well, I was like, yeah, I know how to, but I don't really have the time to help everyone. The only thing I could say about that is definitely don't complain and tell your manager, hey, I don't want to be answering all these questions. Definitely try your best to answer all those questions, especially once you're starting to work out, and always offer help. But I think this was a big part of Julia's presentation too, but it's also knowing when to say, no, I don't have the capacity to do it anymore. Because once you start saying yes and being the yes person, people will look down on you if you just say no to them all of a sudden. So definitely start like putting in your no's like scattered throughout your yeses, so people know like, yes, I'm actually busy, you can't always ask me for help. I kind of messed up on that a few months ago where I also said yes to another big project, and now I'm really behind on that project because I have my primary job to worry about. So I'm like dealing with the consequences of that. But from then on, I said no to every other project that's come up. But definitely be a yes person. If you like see it on a scale, you'd have like a bunch of yeses and then slowly start to scatter in your nose. And then your nose will be more acceptable as you get more primed in your career.
Thank you.
Okay. Better to under promise than and over deliver. Yeah, that's a good point. Damn, Jordan really calling me out with why is it Caleb and not Ruth? Well, mainly because Ruth's not here right now, but I love Ruth. Or is Ruth
Hey, Ruth
here?
is here.
No, she's not. I'm the favorite. No, she's not. I'm the favorite. I'm the favorite. No, she's not.
Wow.
I'm the favorite. No, she's not.
She didn't even hear me because she didn't even respond.
She's frozen, I think.
Nope, she's frozen because she's not here and she's not the favorite.
Well,
Caleb,
actually,
the
I take
top
that
half of your
back.
face looks
I actually
great.
take that back because Ruth wished me a happy birthday and Caleb didn't.
Oh.
What's your birthday?
Exactly. Okay, so I don't know how long you guys want to go for, but I will just go into my last slide. So how do I manage in the real world? You just don't. You never do. It's hard. But a few tips that I could give you is learn how to cook. Don't spend $30 a day on Uber Eats, Seamless. It really adds up quickly. And a big part of being an adult is managing your finances. So then that's point 2 of learn what an IRA is. It's no fun, I promise. It sucks, but I wish somebody forced me to make an IRA when I was in college. I just forced my sister, who's a senior in college, she goes to Drexel. I sat down and made her make an IRA, and she put $1,000 into it from her co-op money that she would have spent on food anyways. So an IRA is an independent retirement account. You can look it up. There's so many YouTube tutorials. There's so many YouTube videos explaining on how it is. It really dumbs it down for people. And that's the only reason why I learned. So I have been maxing out my IRA since last year, which those are very boring words to say in a sentence, but it really like start funding your retirement now, only because you guys aren't using the money for anything else once you do get a job. Like you guys are still going to be renting. You probably only have a car. You're paying off student loans. But I know I'm speaking to like the crowd of student loans from Stevens. So like Jet has like super amount of student loans, and he still has an IRA. I'm also like paying into college, and I still have my IRA. So definitely like still look into it. Retirement isn't fun, but if you put in $2,000 now, it's way more in the long run with compound interest and shit. You'll get way more money than if you put $2,000 in when you're 40 years old. I already touched on this, but people ask me a lot, do I think it's worth it to get an MBA? And my answer is always no. Sorry to the people that have MBAs and sorry to the people that want to get MBAs. That's just my opinion, and you don't have to take my opinion for fact. But if you're paying for it, definitely no. But if you're like year one into your early career, my answer is still no. If you didn't graduate with your bachelor's and an MBA at the same time, I wouldn't recommend you getting an MBA until you are like year 5 into your career. All right, Roma's here, I guess, because she's like shit talking my advice. Well, I'd have you know that I started out with $10,000 more in my salary than everybody else that didn't have their master's. So, I mean, it's pretty worth it. I get $10,000 more a year. It's free money. Geraldine also said, where's my credit card spiel? If you guys don't have a credit card, get a fucking credit card. Get a $500 credit line. Only put your Uber Eats on it, only put your Netflix on it, and pay it off all the time. If you have a credit score, building it, like starting it when you're in college is way more easier than building it when you have car loans, student loans, mortgage. And people, literally adults that I know, still don't have credit cards. So it blows my mind. I don't understand how. There's so many YouTube videos. I can make a TED talk about this, but I don't want to like bore you guys. It was Geraldine 3 years ago, didn't have a credit card until I yelled at her into getting a credit card. Yeah, and pay off your balance. Don't leave a balance rolling over month by month. And then also people were mentioning budget apps like mint.com is good. Clarity Money is good. I actually use this app called Personal Finance. I think it's owned by Personal Capital. Yeah, YNAB, which is youneedabudget.com, is also really good. I actually only use Personal Capital now, and this app that's called Daily Budget. And Daily Budget's just like an Excel spreadsheet, and it tells me how much, like, I kind of don't want to show you guys my like budget, but you can break it down with like how much money you make a day. So like if you have a salary, it'll break down with how much money you make a day. I kind of don't want to show you guys, but the app looks like this. It's this, and you're gonna see Jet's face, but the app looks like this. It's this yellow pig, and every day I make like $30 a day, but that's after I pay my rent. That's after I pay, I don't know how to beauty guru it with the hand. Okay. Well, every day I make like $30 a day with like, after I pay rent, after I pay my 401k, after I pay insurance, after I pay utilities, after I put into my IRA, after I pay back into college. So after all of that, I make $30 a day, which is still a lot. If you like, at the end of the day, that's like my spending budget. The app is called Daily Budget, and it looks like a little pig. I don't know if I can like better show it, but it's like that one yellow app that's like right there. Yeah, Daily Budget. So it's really just an Excel spreadsheet, but it has an interface. So it's like a free Excel spreadsheet that somebody made for you. And it's called, it's not called, I'm not talking about Clarity Money, Julia. I'm talking about Daily Budget. And I don't know if you guys can still even see me, but if you guys can't see me, I was trying to like show it to the camera, but I guess you can't see me. And then my last like point, which I put at the bottom because it's Corona and you can't really do this, but it's to join sports leagues. I joined a volleyball league when I was like in Connecticut by myself, and it was a lot of fun. And I made friends that way. So you can't really make friends as an adult. It's really hard, which is another reason why I recommend rotational programs. Nothing's wrong with Connecticut. I live in Connecticut. I just moved out to move home for Corona, but Connecticut's fine. rotational programs is great because you are working with people who are your age. So the only friends I have made since graduating were people from that rotational program. One of my really good friends was my roommate for 2 years, and we're still really good friends from the rotational program. And then I also have friends that are like still around us that we've all like worked together. So that's what I put in like little text. I made a total of 3 friends since I've graduated. I've made a total of 3 like really significant friends. So I've made a lot of acquaintances and I can like reach out to them, but it's hard to make friends at the speed that you did in college. Like in college, it'll take me a while to name all you guys, but I couldn't do that now with like the people that I've met at work. Okay, so that's been my spiel, and I think I took 30 minutes. I showed you guys some pics, and then whatever you guys have to ask. I can open the chat again.
Do you still need the presentation, or can I like close it out? Because I can't see chat.
I'm good now.
Okay, word. Thank you.
Do you have any stories that are like, damn, should I tell them this? I probably shouldn't tell them this, but I'm gonna tell them this anyway.
The only stories that are like that are like the fun stories from when you like hang out with everyone. Like the whole Ruth found me in her bathroom after drinking like 2 cups of wine when I was like 20 at Fast Thanksgiving. It's just like all the fun times. And then after that's when we started like hanging out more, like on the in the Washington apartments, at people's houses. Like we still had Jacobus, so I was in Jacobus a lot.
Wow. Oh, strong. Are they doing long distance?
Hey, Caitlin, I showed a picture of you before.
Hi.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't really think of any right now.
No, the 2 cups of wine story works. Thank you, Des. Also, thank you for getting me my first co-op at Movado.
Sick. Well, you got that IT experience with SAP. Rip. IT rotational programs love that shit because they want people to know how to use SAP.
What's SAP?
The worst thing ever created.
She's right.
Oh, Julia, that dog.
You didn't even answer the question.
What?
Why did you call Julia a fat dog?
We were driving past somewhere in Edgewater and there was a really fat dog. And I was like, Julia, look, it's your spirit animal. But then she took it offensively for some reason because it was a cute dog. But now she like just brings that up.
No,
every time.
I think you said like, look at that fat dog over there. It's doing nothing. That's your spirit animal.
Sorry.
That's a good impression.
Thank you.
I'm
sure it's written down somewhere.
Is there anything you regret not doing in college?
So this is like, it's very different for every person, but when like my first few years of college, there weren't many sororities, and I was always on the fence of whether or not I wanted to join a sorority. But I had a lot of friends in Theta Phi. Like Geraldine was in Theta Phi, Francine, Jamie, my roommate Deanna, and I wasn't. So I kind of felt like a little like left out, only because I couldn't hang out with the friends I already had. So it was like a big back and forth of whether or not I would join, and I eventually ended up joining, but my 4th out of 5th year. At that time, I was really already solidified in who I was, and I was already very headstrong and knew how things should be ran. So I already ran 2 e-boards at that time, and the Theta Phi e-board like just wasn't being run the way I thought it should be ran. So they definitely heard me like voice my opinion on that. But I wouldn't go back and change it, but I would go back and like tell myself to open that opportunity back up so I wouldn't like live to regret it. I definitely don't live to regret it because I ended up doing it and then it wasn't like my cup of tea anyways because I did it really later on. But I'm glad that I did it even if I did it late, just because I had that experience. Now it's definitely like different. And I'm not really friends with anybody from the sorority anymore because all the friends that I already had, I was already friends with and they're still my friends. So it's like, it really wasn't that big of a deal breaker for me. Can you tell us what you thought about branching out of the circle? The circle of what?
The circle of life, Des. How did you get out of the circle? How did you escape the circle of life?
You know, you just like have to push your brother down a cliff into a mass of galloping water buffalo until
wildebeest.
Wildebeest, fine.
Yeah, Caleb cares about that accurate Lion King lore.
This is why Ruth is the favorite, Caleb.
Really leaning towards Ruth again.
Am I audible now?
Oh my god.
Oh, so audible.
Oh my god.
You're ridiculously audible.
Wow, what the fuck?
It's muted. Oh, but anyway,
It's still echoing.
Bro, you sound like a magic
She's in a
sing.
tunnel.
She sounds like the wizard.
You sound like you're using one of those karaoke mics, like the cheap ones you get from Walmart that echoes it into the mic.
Bruh.
hello.
Julia's a god.
Alright, that's fine. That's
Descended to the last
Spent a
level.
lot of time branching out of your like I guess like your comfort zone of like working with ESC specific orgs and having to work with like different types of people. How did you find that, and was it worth your time?
So, if I like talk about Theta Phi again, and I'm not really trying to, I'm not shitting on them because I actually really love all the girls that were younger than me, like my pledge class. I branched out to kind of like help them like better prepare their e-board. I guess it's a little different though, because I was never really working with people that were older than me. I was like working with people that were younger with me. And I really always like loved the mentoring, mentorship type of roles, like mentor-mentee type of roles. So I like loved working with them so they can kind of learn from my experiences, but also can learn like what they're trying to accomplish. So I really did a lot with like stepping back and seeing what they would accomplish out of that. But I guess that's not really the question, because that was like a more of like a I'm here and they're here, whereas like it was harder for me to like work with people that thought they knew more than me, like in the real world. I definitely only had like male managers and male coworkers, and my confidence and like my strong like attackingness to people sometimes was really hard to like resist in like the corporate America world, because like these people don't know shit half the time, but you can't really say you don't know shit. So you just have to like, anytime you want to write that scathing email that says, as per my last email, maybe just save it in drafts and then come back to it a few hours later and then think about whether or not you actually wanted to send it. I know there's like a lot of like strong-headed people in FAST, so definitely don't make that like regret of like sending that email that was kind of rude. Like save it and then go back to it in like a few hours and just type something that's a little bit more respectful. I think that was like my biggest change from like going from college ESC to like the real world, was I like the way I treated you guys was like out of love, but that made me kind of like aggressive. But it was like my aggressiveness out of love, of like, why can't you guys do this right? I've taught you better. But I can't be like that in the real world. So I would definitely like call it like my alternate personalities. I definitely use all the corporate buzzwords. I'm definitely like a different person in like when I'm working. So just like acknowledging that you have those two different personalities, but never leave your old personality on the table. So that's when I talk to like all my old friends. It's like I act as if I was in college again. Asher, I already told a story about when I was drinking. Now you're gonna make me sound like an alcoholic, whereas I really don't drink that much anymore.
What's your favorite drink?
I never liked rosé. I went straight from like cider, alcohol cider, to like beer at beer garden to straight to red wine. I was never like a rosé white wine kind of person. But recently I have been going back to soju and sake to like when we had like those parties at Julia's place. And I made like a sake watermelon for my group of white friends in Connecticut. And they're like, oh, what is this alcohol? I was like, oh, it's sake. And they're like, oh, the one from the hibachi restaurants, like sake with the little penis boy. I'm like, yeah, that. But trust me, I got it better.
Oh, I got a new headset. That's why.
Oh,
You can like
nice. You really painted a bad picture of Connecticut here.
That's funny.
She said white friends, then she said Connecticut. I was like, you said the same thing twice. That's crazy.
Oh shit, it's Taylor.
Let me also like just say this. I go to all of the SHIP and NESB conferences because I am the diversity in my program. There is like
diversity.
Yeah, out of like 60 people in my program, there's like 4 brown people. So I'm a female, so that's why they send me, because I like
yes.
check mark all the boxes.
2 ducks, 1 stone.
But like I have my really good friends are from Connecticut. Like my good roommate, my good friend roommate, Michaela, and then her boyfriend, and then like all the other people in my rotational programs. Like I'm really good friends with them. It's just funny. And I say these jokes to them and they think it's funny because I'm their token brown friend, which I never was before because I came from FAST and I never had to be that.
You were still technically the token non-Filipino, Des.
Thank you, Kayla.
Russell. Oh. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll keep the call open just if people want to talk, but I think that's it for now, right?
Yeah, and if you guys ever like want, if you're interested in the rotational programs, hit me up and I'll send you the links. But definitely recruiting for DT rotational programs. DT, we rebranded from IT to digital technologies to make us sound cooler, but I think a lot of companies have done that recently. So we're the digital leadership development program is what we're called. Yeah, just group me, or Discord me privately, and I'll send you them like personally. I can't remember from anybody that's been asking me.
Hey, Des, have you met my friend Thomas Bender? He's wondering if you recruit for mechanical engineering aerospace.
See, I don't. I'm sorry. I'm in IT now.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm a different kind of person.
No, it's okay. Past Des doesn't know present Des. We understand.
That's funny. People change.
What? I like see like the DiffyQ memes online. It's like I can't DiffyQ. I can't like physics equations anymore. It just doesn't happen.
How much of like what you learned in college, like in classes, do you learn or do you use at your job?
Mainly because I'm in
outside her
IT
major.
now. Like even with programming, we learned to program in what, C, I think, or C# when we had to use MATLAB. Like I use SQL at work, like primarily.
Only one I know.
So I didn't learn that in school. I just had to pick it up and learn it. I do like a lot of like, because we're so legacy. That's the thing. My company's huge. Like we're a Fortune 50 company, but we're so old school. Like I'm not like one of those like startups that are all fancy and everything. We do like really old school stuff. Select count. I literally probably wrote an Excel equation today that was like select count anything with this word in it. Chem bio major. Be like Geraldine and just go to med school after she goes to Stevens like a crazy person.
Geraldine's shaking her head so fast.
I can't see you. What alumni event do you want first when we can go outside? We only did it once, but it was the Escape the Room. That was a lot of fun. I don't know if you can even do that as an alumni event. I hope we can do alumni ball. Of course, not this year and probably not early next year, but maybe late next year. And I don't mind just like, if you guys want to like set up like interview questionnaire, like a thing with the alumni where it's like, come help us with interview questions or how to answer, like how to fill out a resume properly. Like I wouldn't mind doing like a resume workshop, recruiting, career fair kind of tips and tricks kind of thing. And I'm sure a lot of other alumni wouldn't mind doing that either. Archery tag was fun. You get like mad bruises on your arm. That's always fun. I wouldn't paintball though. Paintball's actually pretty scarring, like mentally scarring. And then I think Julia had another question that was like, or it was Maya. Okay, but do you recruit software engineers who are girls who code but don't actually know how to code? Yeah, I don't code. Like I said, I just code in SQL. That, no offense, but I don't think that's real coding because I don't really code. Like I don't think SQL is real coding. It's just like Microsoft language. And so I don't actually code. So for the leadership programs, if you're going for a DT leadership program, really depending on what kind of company it is, but for my company specifically, if you're a heads down coder, I kind of don't think you'd be a good fit because you don't code in this program. We're really just looking for people that want to be project managers, product managers, that have a basic idea of IT systems. You have to remember, I went in as a mechanical engineer and I don't know shit about IT. So, and I got it. So I 100%, if you don't really know how to code, but you're willing to learn, like the willing to learn part of that statement is like the most important part. And recruiters, like people who are recruiting at college career fairs, like know that really what they're looking for is somebody that's willing to like learn, because you can't come out of college already knowing how the business works. So you gotta like go in to learn how the business works.
Now I need to see Asher's hair.
Do you have a favorite and or least favorite co-op, Des?
Did I mention I worked at Movado?
I think we mentioned it in passing.
You
repressed it.
I can like really quick 3 minutes. My Movado co-op was so bad, and I don't know if I ever told you this, George, but like after week 2, what's his face? I like forget his name already. He like called me into a conference room, took out like a piece of paper and was like, these are like 10 points of everything you've done wrong in the last 2 weeks. And I already sent this to the CIO, and I already also sent it to your co-op office. So go home early and talk to your co-op office about it.
You know, that didn't happen to me, so I guess they changed over time.
And then a month later was Christmas, and he bought me an Alex and Ani bracelet as an apology. And I still wear it to prove a point. I still wear it to prove a point to myself that it's like I like grew so much from it because it was such a shitty experience. So I just and the Alex and Ani symbol was like knowledge. Oh. And I wear it just so it's like, the reason why I got into the program was because of that that co-op because I had no other IT co-op. So for me to say like I already knew how to use SAP, I was already like doing shit in ABAP, like I was doing the middleware stuff. That's the only reason why I got the job. So I'm not thankful for him, and he really like taught me what a shitty manager was, but like just that was the reason why I got my job. So I wear it. I still wear the bracelet like on purpose. On the Movado bracelet, on the Movado watch, I wear that bracelet with the Movado watch that I paid for myself for my first like big purchase.
I think I know who you're talking about if I remember correctly, and I'm pretty sure I don't know why he left the company. I don't know why he didn't work there by the end of my co-op, but it may or may not have been related to your experience. There are some shady details behind it. That's all I'll tell you.
At the time, the co-op office was actually way better than it was now, and I had a really good relationship with the co-op person in the office. Her name was oh, I forgot her name already. Well, I forgot her name, but I like went to her and I was crying because I was really upset. But she was really nice. She was like, I know you're upset, and I also know you're not this kind of person. So whatever happened isn't on you. So I was really like, I got really lucky with having somebody like that. So the next day I came back to work and he asked me, oh, I didn't know you were going to show up today. I was like, this is great. This is lovely. I loved it. Mitch Spainer.
Yeah, that dude. One day I came into work and my like fellow co-op just goes, hey, I don't think Mitch is coming into work today. Oh, why isn't he coming into work today? I don't think he's gonna be coming into work
ever.
Period. I was like, oh shit, okay. And
I actually wrote, one of my alumni, so Richard, what's Richard's last name? Anybody? Bueller?
It's not Reyes.
Yeah, Reyes. He also co-opted at Movado, which helped me get my co-op, which I helped you get your co-op, so I'm glad. Anything else? Delos Reyes. Yeah, why would you just say Reyes, Caleb? You're wrong.
How do you invest? Asher.
I'm on like the subreddits pretty daily, like personal finance and lean fire and financial independence.
That's funny.
And I'm like on that all. That's like my reading material. That's what happens. That's what becomes of you when you. Well, notice I didn't say Wall Street bets. Oh, live with your parents. I lived in Connecticut up until July because I had my roommates in Connecticut, and then our lease was up and I moved back home, and I'm saving a solid 12 grand, and that's just all gonna go into savings. So just move back home for a little bit. It's worth it. Cut up your credit cards so you don't use it.
Who actually has the crickets in the background? I'm genuinely curious.
Oh, me.
Oh, that's crazy.
I hear crickets.
Yeah.
How do you hear crickets?
You know what, Ellie?
How?
It might be in that frequency range that you can't hear.
No, we found out yesterday that I'm very bad at hearing.
No, we've been
quantifiably bad.
We knew.
If you cut up the card, save the chip.
Bad financial advice. I've learned to not take financial advice from my parents, not because I don't love them and not because I don't respect them, but because it's just a different time. And what they did at their time, like you guys are going to get jobs and you're going to be investing into your 401ks. but like my dad never had a 401k. He like started out with like I don't even know, I forget what they're called, the word that old people have, the money that they get, I forget what it's called, pensions. Yeah. So my dad told me like, oh, like make sure you're getting your company match, and like that's all the advice he gave me. But he didn't tell me like what a traditional 401k is, a Roth 401k, what an IRA was. My dad didn't even tell me to get an IRA. And my dad was a stockbroker for 20 years, so he was pretty knowledgeable about finance, but it's just a different time. So don't really go in depending on your parents to tell you like what to do. Really like look it up. It's and I can do a whole other TED talk about this, and it's like so important to get started now. I like regretted like my first year of work, I only like contributed 6% to my 401k, and now I'm like contributing 20. So I wish I did contribute 20% like when I was just starting, because I had all that money. Like you'll get a job and you'll like all of a sudden you'll have this money you've never had before, so you never really have to spend it. Oh, 20% is no way my recommendation for everyone. It's just like that's where I am now, and that's where I could have been like 2 years ago, but I just like didn't. It wasn't like top of mind for me. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I remember I had to do all this stuff because we had meetings. I remember because I was president when it was 2016 and Trump got elected. And it was like that night was the biggest like shit show. It was casino night. You remember, Julia? It was casino night, and the vendor that we used for casino night like had been our vendor for like 10 years or whatever, like for a really long time, like a Stevens vendor for a really long time. But he was a heavy Trump supporter, and he was like, "Yeah, I remember I worked at Trump's casinos, and he's a really great guy." And when he won, he was like really happy. He's like, "Oh, I'm just so relieved Trump won. Like, it's gonna be great for America." Blah blah blah. I'm like, "Oh my god!" And then everybody around us is like crying because we're in Stevens. And the next morning, it was like a text from the SGA president, which was what's his name, Tommy. And then we were like, we need to get ESC involved in like a diversity meeting to have like a round table. And then they set up like a fucking talk in Davis lounge to like have everybody sit, or if they like felt uncomfortable about. The thing is, it's like we're at Stevens in like Hoboken, New Jersey. I understand it, like people, the concern of what was going to be the outcome, but nothing happened. Like nothing happened on campus. There wasn't going to be an outcry on campus, but everybody like student life was scared of something happening, and then they told SGA to take care of it, and Tommy was like, ESC needs to be involved, and man, that was a shit show. It only lasted like 3 days, and then everybody got over it.
Des, do you remember the name? I think you and Julia organized this, but it was like my sophomore year. You had someone from, I think from the Black Lives Matter organization coming to speak. Do you remember what her name was?
No, but I do remember doing that.
I can't remember what her name was, but I keep thinking
I remember that workshop. But
I think their name was Janae. I think their name was Janae.
I remember that workshop so clearly, except for her name. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Got you.
It was because our student life rep at the time, her name was Jaquise. Not that the names matter, but she, it was her, like she knew her. It was her friend. That's how we got her, I think. I don't know if I'm wrong, Julie, you can correct me, but that's how we got like her contact information. And then that's how we got her to speak. But then after Jaquise left, like, I don't even know who your rep is and if they're any good, but Jaquise was great. I'm sad she left, but good for her for leaving because they weren't like treating her right. Because she was not only the ESC, like SGA, ESC student life person, she also was a torch person. So she was doing like both of them. It was a shame she left. She was great.
Also, shameless plug, because I know we have a lot of alumni here, but Jordan and I are working on a throwback games night coming up as an alumni GB hangout. With stuff like Neopets and Club Penguin and all those old style games. Old, I grew up on them too, but.
The Club Penguin died.
Yeah.
There's private servers. We'll be fine.
It's just going to be a slideshow of screenshots that Caleb has collected over the years, and it's just guessing what the context is. That's the whole event.
I think they're working on a Neopets mobile.
Hold on a fucking minute. That market is so
they
inflated. I can't believe
are?
it's still going. Everything costs like trillions of Neopet coins.
That's crazy.
There's a whole, I was watching a video recently, there's a whole Neopets black market that's still like active to this day for selling like pets that like really old school Neopets like had those like old school drawings of how your pets looked like, and you could choose to not transfer them to like how they look like currently. So there's people out there that have like really old school pets, and people are like literally selling them on like the black market for like cash money to like have like the old school pets on your account. So the only reason why I want to get back into Neopets because of that.
The black market trading.
Yeah, black market trading. So funny. I had like a jelly Kachit. Like, isn't that great?
It does. What happened to, you know how you were collecting Tsum Tsum? Whatever happened to that? Because we're talking about like old school things. I was just like,
oh,
you still have it? Is that?
It's
are those-
there.
Is that there? Is that there?
It's
Can
right
you see that?
there.
Whoa.
That's only some of them though. Where's the stash?
Yeah, I thought you had
Oh
more.
my god.
Oh god, never
Oh
mind.
my god. I didn't expect that. Oh my god.
I have more in my basement.
Okay. That
If you
answers
open
my
up the
question.
drywall, it's just filled with Tsum Tsums.
I thought it was just that the top part.
Okay, bye.
Wow.
I still have like my really big ones. It's just that there's no room in my childhood bedroom. So
Tsum Tsums are the only reason our savings rate isn't like 30%. The extra 10% just goes directly to Tsum Tsums.
well, we don't make them anymore. And not that I'm gonna believe that they're gonna be like up in cost like Beanie Babies or anything, but I just like having them still. I'm not gonna sell them.
The new vibe is Squishmallows. That's why.
It's a squishmallow.
Squishmallows are so
Yeah,
cute.
what
I
the
don't
hell
have
is a
mine.
Squishmallow?
I don't have mine on me.
Caleb
I
says
have like
it's
a
so
big one.
I'll show you what it is.
Ellie has one. Yeah. But yeah, Squishmallows are the new vibe.
Tsum Tsums might be expensive in like 5
It's
years.
this bitch. It's this bitch.
Yes, that one. I
Oh,
have the
the-
octopus. But they do like
Sorry
collabs
for
with
my
like
cat's
Disney and stuff
butthole.
now.
Squishy ones.
Yeah,
This
they
is
do.
the
have-
second time a cat.
This
like,
is
came
this is the
to
next
me.
edition.
It's kind of realistic, bro. I don't know about that one.
Henry.
Disney had like the kind of pillowy kind of plush. They were called Oofies.
Oh, I have.
Oofies.
They're called
Wait,
Oofies?
no. I have the giant like mini one.
Like this
Giant
is an
mini?
Oofie.
Oh, mini as in mouse.
Oofie. No, not mini. Like mini, not the mouse. Oh yeah, you have a Tsum Tsum.
I like only have the big versions of things.
Wow, we get it,
That's the
Ellie. You
large
have
one.
money.
No, I
Flex.
didn't. I didn't get this for myself. Oh my God.
Flex.
Ria actually gave me
Well-
the cutest fucking penguin. Hold up.
I did get Humphrey.
got
It's
this-
because we were watching Penguin Drum, so I got him
this
a
mini when I
penguin.
crossed.
It's this thing. It's so cute. It's like it's getting clipped by SpongeBob, but
He came like vacuum sealed in like a
Oh
little
my
in like a
God.
plastic bag, and I got the package. I'm like, there's no way this is what I ordered because I ordered a big one, and then I took it out and it was just like expanded.
so
Julia-
fluffy.
Julie, remember the giant cut the rope thing you gave me? I think Maya asked me yesterday. My parents still yell at me for having this. She left the screen.
I saw that in the background. I was like, oh, what a coincidence. I used to have one of those.
No, it's yours. I took it from you.
I forgot.
Ema, did you see my Tsum Tsum collection? Shall I show it again? Who's the next alumni speaker? Who's in charge? Here?
It's Daniela McCullough. She's gonna tell us about KSA's Kimbap Night,
No. Do we have?
but she's gonna whisper it though.
I don't think we,
We have an idea for one, but
Yeah.
we are still working on it. It will be GBM 5.
Yeah,
Spoiler.
we don't confirm it.
For the
No,
spring.
no.
For the spring.
Oh.
Bima.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
yeah,
sure
Bima, you're locked
Bima's
in. Sorry.
Your next.
Bima, are you? Wait.
Is he still
freeze?
here?
Is he
No,
frozen?
he's here.
He
heard
said,
the
"Yeah, I'll
noise
do
being
spring."
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, we were gonna do BMA, and then he said, "I'll do spring." So we were like, okay.
This was an awesome ass speaker, though. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, it was
The other
nice.
person in
thank
Jordan's picture.
Is it Stips?
That's
I think Stips would wear
Stips.
that.
That's not
that
Stips.
jacket.
I don't think Stips existed at that time.
What do you mean?
He wasn't incepted.
Why is my pillow showing
Who was
up?
that? Who was that? Hold on. Was that?
Is it Caleb?
No.
Is
I
that
don't-
John?
Is he
Yeah.
pretending?
That does actually look like
I saw
John.
Caleb
Is it
venting.
Joff?
He's
No.
sus.
No, Jeff.
They have black hair.
Oh,
He has the
that's
North
Jeff.
Face.
Not
Yeah.
Jeff.
Oh, it's John.
Okay,
oh,
yeah, it's Joff.
yeah.
It's Joff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ruth said it. It's Jeff. It's Joff. Like Geoffrey.
Is there any reason why it's pronounced Geoffrey instead of Jeffrey?
I don't know.
That's his
Do you
name.
know what's fun?
That's just
I think that was Mark's fault.
that's just how his family raised him, bro.
Was
No,
his
we
fault.
asked him one time, and we were like, "What do your parents call you?" And he's like, "It doesn't matter."
First of all, they call
And
they
we're
call,
like,
they call him his,
it's like Geoffrey.
they
We're
call him
like-
his Filipino name. They call him like either like D-Man or like right his Filipino nicknames or something.
I wonder what Joff's parents called
Yeah.
Carlisle when he pulled up to their family room filled with like Santa Marias and like, you know, a lot of other religious Christian household stuff. In his Carly Rae Jepsen as Jesus like crew neck, he walks in and goes, "Oh, hi, nice to meet you," and they just go, "Ah ha ha."
This is
One of my favorite conversations was when Nina was talking to Stips, and she goes, "Stips, does your mom call you Stips?" Stips was like, "No."
Damn, this is like when Bender's parents came and he was like, "Hey, my parents know that everyone calls me Bender, so it's cool. You can still call me Bender." They walk in, they just go, "Wow, you must be Thomas's parents. We love Thomas. He's so cool."
Thomas is great. It's funny.
What if Bender's more of a Tom guy, and no one ever asked?
Tom?
Were you
Well, yeah,
called
we haven't gotten that far yet.
Or
I
Tommy?
don't care either way as long as it's not Tommy. Tommy's the worst.
Oh, okay, no
What
about
Tommy.
Miss?
No Tommies. Just
Miss.
Miss.
Just miss.
Thomas.
Miss
The
Tom.
day,
Miss Bender.
the day Domo went from Domo to Daryl broke me.
Oh yeah.
When was he
When
there?
did that
Does he
happen?
go by Daryl now?
You grow up.
That was my Daryl now.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Daryl.
Is
The only
Daryl?
people that call him
What is
Domo are like
Daryl?
very few.
Still call him
Is
Domo.
Domo
Well, because
part
Maria-
of his name, or is it
Domo's
just
his
a
last name.
nickname?
Domo's his last
Oh my
name.
god, I forgot.
Because Maria calls him
Is
Daryl.
Bender part
so
of
if you're
his
like
name,
around
or-
Maria and Domo, like she calls him Daryl, so you have to
No.
call him Daryl.
Yeah, but you call Jet Jan all the time, and Sonny still calls him Tyler.
Remember
Sonny's
when I
the
thought
only
you guys
person-
had
Yeah,
a
and
common
Steven's
Facebook
commencement still
account?
calls him Jan, so
Damn. What the fuck?
hell?
That was vile. Damn.
Jan. They like drew it
Jan,
out too. They were
Eric,
like
Tyler,
Jan, Eric, Tyler, Adlawan.
Crazy.
the worst
I
part
thought
is
they
like
could
you
get
submit the
Adloam,
pronunciation
but
too. They just wanted to be fancy
not
with it.
Jan.
He wrote it down. Like he wrote it in like
I
Jan.
didn't
He
remember.
wrote on the card Jan like Pan, and then they said
Yeah, he
Jan.
did.
Maybe they pronounce it Pawn. You don't know, man.
Where did the Y come from?
Damn, I remember at that same commencement we were like, I wonder where Asher is, like in the crowd, and then he's like, guys, I have the LED graduation cap. We were like, no, there's no. Oh my fucking god, it moves.
I have
I
an
was,
RG.
It's a
I was a
square.
lighthouse.
Show
I
it
was
to
literally
us.
a White
It's a
House during
square of
commencement.
RGB strips.
Asher, there's RGBs flashing on your face as we speak.
True.
Yeah. Also,
They've consumed him as a computer engineer.
no, I felt bad for whoever was behind me because whoever was behind me was blinded the entire commencement.
Imagine that you just want to get your degree. Some guy just has LEDs right in front of you. You're just
You're
like,
trying to look up at the keynote speaker talking about how much he loves her horses, but you can't look up
my
because the
God.
guy just has LEDs.
You guys
forgot
remember
about
so
horse
much. Oh my
horse-
god.
Or going to
the Ohio State
Horse
University.
No, that was the year after. The Ohio State was the year after. Horse Girl was the year before.
True.
I thought there were two horse. Weren't there two horse girls?
No, there was the one true Horse Girl.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It was
Yeah,
True Horse
Horse
Girl,
Girl
and
was
then the
my
next year was
year,
Lily
and
Pichu.
then-
I think that was the one I didn't go to.
Oh, there's also
I went to that
Asher,
one.
when did you technically
Literally,
graduate?
that's the highlight.
Asher
I went to
graduated with
Dan.
us.
Okay.
2017.
You
And
guys
the
suck.
Psalms.
2016.
That's
had
another
Horse Girl.
another solid advice is don't be hungover on your graduation if you guys do in-person graduations.
Yeah.
Because it's just like you have to sit there hungover. It sucks. Because I
Wear
did it.
shoes you won't trip.
In-person graduation.
I feel like that's
parties.
something I
Yeah.
do like involuntarily, like thinking that I could drink enough, and then I just wake up the next morning like, damn.
They meant involuntarily, as in like, oh, the alcohol just like slipped in my mouth, and coincidentally, it was the night before my commencement.
Someone is drugging Humphrey. Someone please help.
Dima says drink Pedialyte. That's a very good tip.
They
Key.
Pedialyte,
God.
like you know those those like
The
powder
packets.
drink
Yeah, yeah,
mixes and the
Yeah,
sticks.
yeah.
They Pedialyte versions of those exist.
Mhm.
So
Snort it.
what you do is when you have a
Wait.
party, you get a box of 90 of them, and you just
Wait.
put it out on the counter. With
That's what we
all
did
the-
last year
Actually.
at Find. We had like
That's the
Pedialyte
prehab
packets.
or the
yeah.
rehab.
Good choice. That's adult life hacks. I only learned as an adult too. I wish I knew about it in college.
Wasn't there a senior D that fixed hangovers?
That
Oh,
was,
yeah.
No,
that was
I thought the senior.
controversial.
I thought the senior D was the alcoholless alcohol. But every.
No,
every
that was
other
Geoffrey's senior
does.
D.
Yeah.
There was
Wait.
one that was controversial. It was the hangover one.
The hangover one was.
It was the
controversial.
hangover one.
why
That
was it controversial?
It
Because
offended.
it
the
implied
frats.
drinking.
Or-
Well,
no,
no,
it like
it
It
actually had
implied
to
that
do with,
Steve
like,
and students
frats.
drink.
Yeah.
What?
they wanted to like promote the thing with the Stevens frats, and then because that implied that the Stevens
Okay.
frats were like
Frats
alcoholics,
drank,
yeah,
I can
that's where the
understand why that might
controversy
be
arose from.
I can see why that's controversial.
unruly. But why would you have a hangover when you can just remove the alcohol from the alcohol and there's no alcohol to hang you over? I don't understand.
Yeah, they should have just hold water.
It just tastes like alcohol. Imagine that. That would fucking suck.
I'm on. But I don't know who this iPhone 3 is.
That reminds me of like the meme where it's like, if you ever wanted to release pigs to cause chaos, you should number them 1, 2, and 4.
Oh, we did that at my high school.
No way.
That was one of our old high school
kind
You
of-
know,
friends.
I thought that
What
was
kind-
like a
what kind of-
Facebook
what
meme. I
kind
didn't
of
realize
hick-
people actually did that shit.
What kind
Well,
of hick
our-
high school did you go to?
Do you
We
guys
had, like-
have pigs?
I don't know. We have a bunch of rich people, but
Y'all
there's
got-
like
Why do rich people
Rich
have
people
why do
have
rich people
pigs?
have
I don't know.
pigs?
There was like farms around, but like we had.
So you
we
did went to a
pranks.
hick high school.
So we had
They had it for the
Senior pranks
dowry.
are
I
one, they
understand.
released. They had like it was either pigs or like some other animal, and it was like labeled 1, 2, and 4.
Ellie, I don't
We had
know how
another
you
one.
don't remember the animal.
We had
Like, it's
another
a
because
big story.
I wasn't there when it happened. We had another
They were
one.
actually tortoises.
When I was there, they put chickens in the bathrooms. There was another one where they filled cups of water and put it into they filled the entire